Hey guys, welcome back. It's time to look at some shadiness or signs of shadiness coming from the grading companies and eBay. First off, we're going to give them a little compliment here. eBay has done the right thing, the thing that I suggested. I don't know, they probably didn't take my advice on it. This is probably something that they should have been doing from the get-go. But we have the items actually being inspected now to make sure that they're the same items, to make sure they are as described and photographed on the eBay listing. So that's a good step. That's a step in the right direction. Make sure it's the same card. Make sure that the hollow pattern matches, the damage on it matches, the centering matches, that they didn't do the old swap-a-roo on you, because at that point we've seen many collectors, purchasers, who got boned because it passed eBay authenticity. So guess what? No refunds allowed. Now, if you're going to wait for the card to come through, to be verified, whatever it might be, please, at least make sure it's the same one that the person purchased. That's kind of, it seems like it's at least going in the right direction there. Next, we have Liz here with a post saying CEO Jamie, eBay CEO Jamie Lanone just told Squawk CNBC that eBay has never had a counterfeit product get through one of their authentication centers undetected. My God, that is, I've never heard something that is more BS in my entire life. If you know, the grading companies, they've all graded fake cards. They've all graded altered cards. We'll take a look at a few examples here. What are you smoking that you think? Maybe you didn't mean to say that. We can only hope. Auburn here pointing out this is ridiculous unless eBay is saying they detected and still passed counterfeit items. Pretty much what we're looking at here today. For anyone that doesn't remember, PSA is the one that is authenticating these eBay graded slabs, and they have made mistakes. They've all made mistakes. They're going to make mistakes again when you have a low-wage employee that's working several hours, as we'll discuss later in the video here. It's going to happen. You're going to make mistakes. There's a lot of niche things. There's a lot of bad actors out there that are altering cards, submitting fake cards, submitting counterfeit cards, and there's a whole battle going on with the grading companies to see who can grade. Send that to CGC. They'll grade any error. We saw how that worked out for them. We don't have examples of that today, but we do have a glaring example here from PSA, who graded this very trimmed Charizard card, was advised of such in multiple videos of mine and my direct contact about it, and they did a whole lot of nothing. So you can see on the bottom of the card here, she's pretty dang altered. Legitimate card, authentic card, altered card, should not be a 10. Like look at this shit. At least not even a straight cut. Not to mention it's not going to be the same. All you got to do, PSA, all you got to do, grading companies, take another card, doesn't matter what it is, put it up against it. Hey, there's a big section missing here. Why is that? Now, we did have other examples where we had PSA authenticating counterfeit cards if they had a signature on them. This deceived many customers. Their story was, yeah, but we're just authenticating the autograph. No, you shouldn't put a fake card in a PSA slab without clearly indicating on the slab itself that the card is counterfeit. If you want to still grade it, if you still want to put it in plastic and charge people to do so, just put it right on there. Counterfeit card. We got triple rattle inception for all you triple rattle enjoyers out there. Next, we have PSA, who graded this fake first edition stamp amongst many others from a certain scam doodler. This one here was just somebody trying to see if they could get it to pass through PSA. PSA fell for it. They posted about it. PSA did deactivate the cert. But again, it's a mistake. It can happen. It shouldn't happen. Should be... First edition stamps are like the easiest thing you could possibly check to make sure that they're legitimate, because they are so damn consistent that if you take more than the 30 seconds the grader is allocated to each of these individual cards that they're grading, you would be able to tell that this was a fake stamp. Now, we also had some, again, this is the reaching and grading things that you have no business grading. We got the old counterfeit card ass vending situation that happened at PSA. I think they Takesies backseed this. Again, not an expensive mistake like the Charizard that's clearly trimmed on the bottom and was submit, after some research, by a known fraudster. Holy moly, known fraudster submitted that? Who would have guessed that it's trimmed on the bottom? How it passed, don't know. But again, in the olden days, and olden days are not that long ago, PSA did not give a shit about Pokemon. They do now because it's a large portion of their business. But back in the day, they didn't give a crap. Like the Logan Paul 10 Illustrator that got 9 multiple times before it ended up with a 10. Again, that's like single digit dollars, like $7 to like crack it and send it back in. And eventually, does it get a 10? Probably, because the consistency is not there, because you're paying somebody that's working long hours to look at that thing for not very much time. And no, they are not experts. Professionals, yes, because they're doing it for work. Experts, disagree. I think you need to be smarter than the graders. You need to learn what they don't know. You can be more of an expert. You can have enough expertise in Pokemon after just a couple years of learning, looking at stuff, especially if it's niche stuff like this. You're going to know more than somebody at the grading company. This is just going to, maybe that's the first time they touched that. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe they're just there trying to get a paycheck, a small one, but they're going to get a paycheck. Now, we have this video by Dan the Card Man. PSA offers cash for cards when grades revealed. And I know what you're saying. Rattle, that sounds like a conflict of interest, and I would have to agree. So we've seen the grading companies, they dabble in the mystery stuff. It's not their mystery stuff, but they're working with somebody to pump up their numbers like CGC did with the mystery packs that they were pumping out, advertising, but wouldn't say who was owning it, who was all those, where were all those cards coming from? How did their numbers skyrocket? So they are going to dabble. The grading companies, it's not enough for them to take your money, to put your shit in plastic and pretend that it's a super authentic plus, that the grades aren't going to be different every time you submit the card. On more often than not, they're going to pretend that's not a thing. They're experts. They're going to give you that, but they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be buying and selling cards. Now, with the pandemic, a ton of people graded. And if you want to grade your cards, if you're new to Pokemon, if you're new to sports, if you're new to trading cards, whatever it might be, or just getting back in, the worst possible thing, one of the worst possible things that you can do is grade your cards. There's a steep learning curve. There's a lot of money that you can waste, a lot of time that you can waste on grading. And you need to know what you're doing beforehand, if that's even something that you want to do. Don't feel like you need to grade your cards, but if it's something that you want, if it's something that you're going to be buying and selling, you need to know what you're looking at. People submit a ton of cards during the pandemic. It took so long to come back that those dropped in price, and there was just a mass amount of unclaimed cards that were at PSA. So then PSA started selling them because they weren't paid for. So at some point, they got to get rid of them somehow. So they do. They have their eBay account where they're selling that stuff off. Now, the consigning stuff, I don't really have any problem with that in terms of if people want to sell through PSA on the PSA account. But at no point should PSA be buying and selling their own slabs. That's kind of what it comes down to. That's where it gets real greasy. That's where there's some conflict of interest coming in. So watch this video if you have time to do so. And if you're interested in more information and another point of view, which is very similar to mine. But here we have a collect article, PSA to offer cash for cards when grades revealed. And it's showing that PSA is offering. Now, if they want to set something up where people can buy and sell, people can put offers on the stuff, and it's their party, it's not them. Sure, if it's PSA buying it, no, that shouldn't happen. That's getting into the greasy territory of bad things going to happen. And now it doesn't say, again, this is super vague, which it shouldn't be. Should want to be a little bit transparent with this PSA. But they say, according to PSA, offers from a partner network of buyers. Who's that? Who's the partner network of buyers? Why can't we know who they are? Who gets super special treatment that they can put offers on people's stuff? Is it GameStop? It seems like it might be GameStop. Regardless, we got the article here. Again, just dipping their toes in. We've seen it. Is this where they're going? PSA? Can you just say they're going into GameStop power packs? If that's where they're going? Or is it going to other people too? So this stuff, again, another noob trap. And I know it might be appealing in this day and age. Repacks are not good value. The more layers of gambling that you add onto your trading cards that already, if you want to open a pack, is gambling to some extent, you double down. You have an outer package, an outer gamble with the inside gamble with a, again, it's gonna be bad value. If it was good value, it wouldn't make sense to make a product like this. So even the trustworthy ones, not to mention the fact that you get it from a lot of shady individuals, as we've seen in the past, and as we'll touch on in the video here later. Stay away from the repacks. Just stay away from the repacks. Hold off on grading until you know what you're doing. All right, Linktree, before we get into more griminess, and yes, we're going to touch on the mystery griminess with the grading companies in just a second. We got the Linktree. If you want to support the channel here, I'm not going to sell you a mystery pack. I think it's bad value. I think it's, and just don't add more gambling. There's already enough gambling. Stop adding gambling. Stop trusting people with the extra gambling. Don't trust the grading companies. Trust yourself. If you still want to use them after that, take into consideration that you need to know more than they do in order to truly protect yourself and get the value that they're speaking of. Whether it's the grade, whether it's something that's altered, you need to know what you're looking at to protect yourself. Misgrades happen all the time. Oftentimes, they're going to say, oh, yeah, that's still a 10, even though the thing looks like dog shit. I should have had some examples here of that, but there's many videos where I've pointed that out. PSA Pikachu, Securus Card Shop, Card Market, Buyee, Catch 'em All Collectibles, Collector app for tracking your collection, bunch of discount codes for the stuff that I use and recommend, a bunch of just click it before you shop for the things you're shopping for anyway. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you want to, you're appreciated. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to Card Market for sponsoring. Now, we can get into the, we had the MJ Holdings. For anyone that's been around and has seen the mystery garbage that they pump out onto Walmart shelves, you should know to stay away from that stuff. Yes, is a mystery power box, whatever the fuck they call them, is it going to be Juicy Lucy in, 20 years when the pack's inside of aged and you get the trash hit instead of the super vintage plus packs that they advertise in there? Now, conflict of interest is MJ Holdings' middle name, MJ Holding, not Holdings. Regardless, not cool. So we saw them marking the prices up, selling through there instead of providing them that GT Collectibles and Toys account that they had, which is just that sister company name. Why wouldn't they want people to know that it's MJ Holding? I mean, you can do a little bit of research and you can find that out. Regardless, stay away from this shit. Not good value. Already not good value to open packs, even if you get them at a good price. The expected value is not going to be good, so make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you do it within reason, responsibly. Enjoy it responsibly if you do like opening packs, and make sure that you want most of the stuff that's coming out. If you're just chasing after one card, you are deleting money, and you can delete money if you want to delete money. So here, you can see here, we got the consumer ratings on these bad boys, 3.7 out of 5. Because more often than not, you're not going to get the price that you put into it. It's just shitty gambling with shitty odds. That's going to give you, chances are it's going to give you stuff that you don't even want. That's kind of how mystery products work. It's either a scam to the point that the hits are not even in there, that they're not prepackaged. We've seen all kinds of that. It's going to be low value because they can just repack the stuff, or it's going to be stuff that nobody wants and they can't sell individually. So guess what? They toss it in there, get rid of it in that way, and you get stuck with the things that you don't necessarily want. Now, we have another video here. You guys can watch the whole thing. We'll watch a first little clip here from Professor Sports Cards. He interviews a PSA employee, previous PSA employee. I don't know if he's going to get in any trouble for this, but regardless, cool to hear from somebody that was working there what's going on behind the scenes.
They had strong surveillance. I
believe that.
I mean, like, think about any bank that you've been to. Think about any place that you've been to and been like, yo, there's a lot of surveillance here. And then think about that times 5 to 10. Is that like they'll come in and there's a flag next to it. And he told me, don't send in the multiples. And I was like, why wouldn't I send the multiples? He's like, if you send in the multiples, there's less of a chance that you're gonna get a 10 because they're gonna make sure that one is better than the other.
Today we're talking.
So we're getting into the golden GoldenEye tunes, pretty cool. But what you're hearing there's lots of surveillance, so they should be able to, if your stuff gets stolen, lost, damaged, they should have evidence of that happening. PSA is pretty good at eventually getting back to you with that stuff. Now, if something like that happens at Beckett, you're probably SOL. Working on a little coverage on that. Just communications, probably just the sheer amount of or lack of employees at BGS that kind of make that such a nightmare when something bad happens. This is one of those things where just fix it to begin with. In that video, he does talk about the bathrooms being pretty terrible because you got a lot of people that are not treating their bodies right, taking dumps. And he goes on about how like people are working extra shifts, like there's a lack of employees, so people are working extra hours, but they're not going to be all that productive. He talks about how at one point people were working up to 15 hours grading cards. So if you think that that's going to be a reliable condition or authenticity in any way on hour 14 and 15, that's some cope. Now, let's get into mystery machines, mystery vending machines. These are bad. The online roly-poly McDolies, all the like online gambling for Pokemon card shit, is terrible. Even when you win, they'll say they're going to send you a card. It'll not be in the, it won't even be close to the condition that was described. Sometimes they don't have it, so they're picking it up, they're buying it. Sometimes it takes fucking ages for it to come back to you. Stay away from the online gambling for Pokemon cards. Not good. Again, it's just baked in. It's baked in that you're going to lose. That's how it works. That's how casinos work. So we got CGC certified graded mystery box. So we saw this from PSA. Not surprised that we're seeing it from CGC. Again, it's a way for them to pump their numbers up. And it wouldn't surprise me if someone shady is behind this. Because, as we saw with PSA, and I'll leave you guys with this before we go, we had PSA who had this machine. It wasn't PSA's machine, though. They said it wasn't theirs. It's somebody, a client of theirs that was grading cards that made the machine. They claimed to be upset that it was PSA branded, and it wasn't indicating enough that it wasn't PSA's machine itself. But at the same time, known fraud association with mystery products that were very scammy. You go back, look at the records over the years. So this is not just somebody that shouldn't have been able to create a PSA vending machine, but it should be somebody that's banned from submitting cards to PSA altogether. If they're looking out for your best interest, it's in your best interest that the fraudsters of any kind associated with it, whether it's altering cards, whether it's scammy whammy boxes, they shouldn't want to be tied to that, and they should. Again, it's going to cost them money to not take submissions from the scammies. But are they going to do that? Are they in the best interest of the collectors? No, probably not. So look out for yourself and the grading companies and everything else that's corporate greed. Let them stick it up their butt. Have a good one, guys. See you in the Discord. We're still waiting on those Pokemon drops, the Phantasmal. Free restock notifications in the Discord. If you haven't been in there already, if you know somebody that's paying for that, tell them to stop paying for it because it's free in my Discord in order to give a fair and level playing field to everyone involved that wants to pick up some product. While it is hard to obtain, I don't think that's going to last forever. I don't think big box is always going to be the best price. Traditionally, it isn't. In a calm market, it could take a while for the market to calm down. I know people don't want to hear that, but we need some reprints here, Pokemon. Get printing. See ya.